Today, we're introducing Icons, a new multi-effect plugin that takes your music production to a whole new dimension. It gives you a wide range of creative and professional sound options. Ready to learn more and get the most out of your effects? Stay tuned. We'll guide you through it step by step. Let's take a look at the first effect section. Top left is the icon for the chorus effect. Bottom left is the icon for the pitch effect. Bottom right is the icon for the tremolo effect. And top right is the icon for the phaser effect. Next, we'll dive into their functions, focusing on the control sliders and how to use them effectively. In the top left of the red LED display, you can see that you are in the first effect sector. Keep in mind that the last activated effect can always be adjusted using the control sliders. Below, you can see all the effects. The highlighted effects show the order of the first sector, where only one effect can be selected. For the chorus effect, Control 1 adjusts the modulation rate, influencing the oscillation speed, to create a shimmering, dynamic texture. Control 2, on the other hand, determines the modulation intensity, shaping the overall richness and movement of the effect. When using the pitch effect, Control 1 shifts the pitch in precise steps, allowing you to fine-tune it from +12 to -12 semitones, perfect for creating harmonies or dramatic tuning changes. Meanwhile, Control 2 governs the mix level, deciding how prominent the pitch effect will be in the overall sound. For the tremolo effect, Control 1 manages the frequency of the amplitude modulation, producing rhythmic volume fluctuations at varying speeds. Control 2 adjusts the depth of these fluctuations, influencing the intensity of the effect. With the phaser effect, Control 1 controls the modulation frequency of the phase shifting, creating swirling, evolving soundscapes. Control 2 fine-tunes the depth of the phase shifting, affecting the dynamic nature of the sound movement. In the second section, you'll find the icon for the delay effect in the top left, while the top right represents the reverb effect. The icon for the reverse effect is located at the bottom left, and the bottom right shows the icon for the spring effect. Now, let's dive into how these effects work, focusing on the control sliders and their optimal use. In the top left corner of the red LED display, you can see that you are in the second effect sector. Remember, the most recently activated effect can always be adjusted using the control sliders. Below, you can see all the effects. The highlighted effects show the order of the second sector, where only one effect can be selected. For the delay effect, Control 1 modifies the delay time, giving you the ability to adjust the spacing between repeated echoes for rhythmic or ambient effects. Meanwhile, Control 2 manages the feedback, determining how many times the delay will repeat. When using the reverb effect, Control 1 alters the perceived size of the reverb space, enabling a shift from a small, intimate room to a vast, open hall. Control 2, on the other hand, adjusts the feedback level, influencing the duration of the reverb tail. With the reverse effect, Control 1 defines the playback speed of the reversed signal, offering options for half speed, normal speed, or double speed processing to create unique reverse textures. Control 2 controls the processing speed, affecting how quickly the reverse effect is applied. For the spring effect, Control 1 fine-tunes the tonal balance of the spring reverb through a built-in filter, shaping its resonance and character. Control 2 adjusts the mix, allowing you to blend the spring effect smoothly into the overall sound. In the third section, the icon for the distortion effect is in the top left, and the saturation effect is placed in the top right. At the bottom left, you'll see the icon for the overdrive effect, and at the bottom right, the icon for the AMP effect. Now, let's go through their functions and see how the control sliders shape the sound. In the top left of the red LED display, you can see that you are in the third effect sector. Keep in mind that the last activated effect can always be adjusted using the control sliders. Below, you can see all the effects. The highlighted effects show the order of the third sector, where only one effect can be selected. For the distortion effect, Control 1 shapes the distortion curve, allowing you to adjust both the intensity and character of the clipped signal. Control 2 handles the drive intensity, determining how aggressive the distortion becomes. When using the saturation effect, Control 1 adds harmonic warmth and subtle compression, creating a fuller, more textured sound. Control 2 introduces a bolder analog style saturation, adding grit and rich tonal color. For the overdrive effect, Control 1 increases the overdrive intensity, giving your tone a gritty, dynamic edge. Control 2 adjusts the treble presence, fine-tuning the brightness of the overdrive tone to suit your needs. With the AMP effect, Control 1 boosts the low frequencies, enhancing the bass response and delivering a fuller, more impactful sound. Control 2 adjusts the treble, allowing you to shape the higher frequencies for a clearer, sharper tone. Last but not least, in the fourth section, you'll find in the top left the icon for the filter effect, while the tape effect is located in the top right. The bit crush effect is shown in the bottom left, and the grain effect is at the bottom right. Now, we'll break down their functions and see how the control sliders can shape your sound. In the top left of the red LED display, you'll see that you're now in the fourth effect sector. Keep in mind that the most recently activated effect can be adjusted using the control sliders. For the filter effect, Control 1 adjusts the low-pass filter, allowing you to shape the smoothness and warmth of the sound. Meanwhile, Control 2 modifies the high-pass filter to control the brightness and clarity of the output. When using the tape effect, Control 1 influences the flutter effect, adding subtle pitch variations to the sound. At the same time, Control 2 controls the wow effect, introducing slow pitch modulation that enhances the texture and depth. With the bit crush effect, Control 1 sets the bit depth, reducing the resolution to create a lo-fi aesthetic. Control 2, on the other hand, adjusts the sample rate, altering the digital texture and overall character of the effect. Lastly, for the grain effect, Control 1 controls the grain size, affecting both the texture and density of the sound. Control 2 modifies the grain position, influencing how the grains interact with the audio and move through the soundscape. Use this button to swap the positions of effect rows or sectors, allowing you to explore new and creative combinations. This adds more variety and flexibility when shaping your sound. With the red button, you can bypass the effects. This makes it easy to compare the original sound with the processed signal. Need to save or load a preset? Simply click on the logo icons to open the preset browser and manage your settings effortlessly. And if you want to adjust the plugin's size, just use the 3 small lines in the bottom right to resize it freely. Let's move on to the mix slider. This control lets you blend the original dry signal with the processed wet signal. When it's set to 0, you'll hear only the dry signal. As you move it up to 50%, the balance between the dry and wet signals is even, giving you a natural mix. At 100%, the effect takes full control, and only the processed sound is audible. This allows you to shape your sound exactly the way you want it. Now, let's explore the XY pad. With the ball in the center, all 4 effects are balanced at 50%. As you move the ball towards any of the corners, the intensity of each effect adjusts, giving you control over how much of each is blended into your sound. This allows for precise, real-time manipulation of the effects to shape your sound in a dynamic and creative way. When the ball is positioned in the top left of the XY pad, some effects from each sector reach their full intensity. This means that the effects from the first sector, pitch and phaser, are at 100%, as well as the effects from the second sector, spring and reverb, the third sector, saturation and amp, and the fourth sector, tape and grain. Depending on where you place the ball in the pad, you change the mix and intensity of the effects from the 4 sectors. Now, if you move the ball to the top right of the XY pad, different effects from each sector will reach their maximum intensity. In this position, the effects from the first sector, pitch and chorus, will be at 100%, as well as the effects from the second sector, reverb and delay. The third sector, with distortion and saturation, and the fourth sector, featuring filter and tape, will also reach full intensity. If you move the ball to the bottom left of the XY pad, a new set of effects from each sector will reach their full intensity. In this position, the first sector's effects, tremolo and phaser, will be at 100%, along with the second sector's spring and reverse. Additionally, the third sector, featuring overdrive and amp, and the fourth sector, containing bit crush and grain, will be fully applied. Finally, when you position the ball in the bottom right of the XY pad, another combination of effects will reach their full intensity. In this corner, the first sector's effects, chorus and tremolo, will be at 100%, along with the second sector's delay and reverse. The third sector, featuring distortion and overdrive, and the fourth sector, containing filter and bit crush, will also be fully applied. As always, shifting the ball within the pad allows you to fine-tune the balance and interaction of the effects across all four sectors. In the preset browser, you manage your banks and presets. On the left, you save your banks, and on the right, you save your presets. In the bottom left, you can also enable or disable the click sound. Thank you for tuning in. Get icons now at w.toneworks-audio.com and take your creativity to the next level. Versatile, intuitive, and powerful. Icons adds the depth and character your sound deserves.